Derick Giwner flying solo in the DRF Harness Studios today as we look at Dayton Raceway for Friday, September the 28th. They have two major Grand Circuit races on the card, the $150,000 Dayton Trotting Derby and the $150,000 Dayton Pacing Derby. They go as races 10 and 12 on a nice 13 race card. We'll have all the action live on Harness Live. You can watch along with Garnett Barnsdale as he gives you some real-time thoughts on the card and tells you what's happening going on during the evening. We're going to take a look at race number 10. It's the Dayton Trotting Derby, $150,000 on the line, and really wide open field here. Morning line favorite, probably rightfully so, will take charge, but he certainly doesn't blow these away by any means. Ariana G, Homicide Hunter, both serious contenders. JL Cruz raced well last week in the Caesars Trotting Classic, and we're going to take a look at that race because many of these came out of that race, including I Know My Chip, Homicide Hunter, JL Cruz, and Bridge to Jesse's, who's first up on the outside challenging at a pretty big 54-1 price tag here. And it was coming home late, you're going to see that Mary Marauder is going to end up winning this race. That one's not here. Homicide Hunter closes well, but he was outkicked by Mary Marauder. You see Mary Marauder's on the far outside here, making way to the lead and getting past this Homicide Hunter. So maybe not the best race in the world. Between horses there, JL Cruz was splitting horses late, ended up finishing second, close from basically 8th, which is almost last in this field. Interesting group of horses. I went with number 2 in here, Ariana G. If you look back at the past performances, if you throw out the top line, which is the race at in the preferred at Woodbine Mohawk Park, it wasn't a great effort, but you know what? Horses are allowed to throw in bad efforts from time to time. This one's 30 for 36 in her career in the money, so she doesn't throw in too many bad efforts. The two previous starts before that in the Maple Leaf Trot, they were both really nice miles. A solid third and a win in the elimination. Beat Will Take Charge in both of those races, interestingly enough, and Will Take Charge is the morning line favorite. So people tend to look at the top line. Will Take Charge's top line is an open handicap win. So I think you're going to get a decent price on Ariana G. We're getting a new driver this week in Brian Sears, and he always seems to work out the perfect trip at the perfect time. So I think it's a good price play. Obviously, Will Take Charge figures in this spot. Will he be the favorite, as it says on the morning line? Probably will, but I think it'll be lukewarm, maybe 8-5. The price isn't going to be awful. The 4 Homicide Hunter certainly has a shot in here. And what's interesting is he's got some speed, whereas some of the horses outside of him, I don't know that they're going to be so quick to dart out of the gate. Maybe he works out a good trip in this field, sitting close. Hoosier Park has a very long, this is Dayton. Hoosier Park is a very long stretch, and he couldn't get the job done at Hoosier Park, with that stretch. Was it because he had missed 3 weeks of action? I'm not quite sure if that was the reason or not. I think he has a shot in here, but I don't think I'm loving what kind of price you're going to get on this horse. JL Cruz raced really well with the long stretch at Hoosier, closed like a ton. Always been a solid horse. At age 7, does he, is he still have what he needs to take these on? I think from an inside post, probably yes. I'm a little leery from the outside post. So in this race, race number 10, the Dayton Trotting Derby, I'm going with number 2, Ariana G as my top pick. That leads us to race number 12. That's the Dayton Trotting Derby. This one's the Pacing Derby. This one's $150,000 on the line here. And this field, I don't think it's as wide open as the Trotting Derby is here. When you look at this field, the best horse in the race, there's no doubt about it, is number 8, McWicked, who's made over $3 million in his career. But he's a horse that has shown time and time again does not usually race well near the lead, does all his racing from behind. And post 8, there's a long way to go. And, quite frankly, this isn't Hoosier Park where he can close from the back, as he tried to do last time and just missed by a neck. This is Dayton, a 5H track. Being closer to the lead is probably preferred. We'll take a look at this Hoosier Park Pacing Derby from last week where, the majority of this field comes out of. And you're going to see Lazarus is on the lead. He got reasonably soft fractions here, 55, 123 is pretty soft for this class. And McWicked's going to try and close from the far back of the pack. Split the houses in this race as well. Also, Don't Tell Me Again is closing along with McWicked. You see McWicked's number 3 is in the white and closing on the outside of him. Don't Tell Me Again. Those two are coming home in 25 seconds. That's right, 25-second final quarter. That's pretty impressive. And that leads me to Don't Tell Me Again as my top pick in this race. You know what? Really, the key to this race is he has post position number 3, and Mick Wickett's on the outside in post 8. I just don't see how Mick Wickett gets into the race. I think Don't Tell Me Again, driver Tim Teacher's going to put him in play early on. I don't see much speed in this race. Maybe Rockin' Ron goes to give him a little bit of a tussle early on, but Don't Tell Me Again is really in the perfect spot to leave, sit first or second, you know, with reasonable fractions and get the job done here. Can Mick Wickett and Brian Sears find a way from post 8? I just don't think they're worth the short price in this particular spot. You know, there's just too much ground to overcome. Maybe they decide to leave this week, but do you really want a horse at a short price who's doing something he doesn't usually do? I don't. The 9 Split the House, certainly a horse that figures could have a say in this race, but driver Scott Zeron's going to have to gun out. He's going to have to hope he finds a good spot to sit there and wait, and then hope he has a lot left in the stretch. Last time he had post 1 in the pacing derby at Hoosier, sat a close trip and just couldn't quite get the job done. I mean, he was okay, but he was nothing spectacular. Came home in 25-4. When others are coming home in 25, that's just not going to cut it. I think an interesting horse underneath, if you're looking for exotics, could be the 2 Beckham Z-Tam. Also out of that pacing derby at Hoosier Park, really had absolutely no shot. Came home in 25 and change like the rest of them, but started from an outside post, never got into it. I think from an inside spot, if he could save some ground here, he could possibly shake free late at a pretty nice price here. He's 10-1 on the morning line. You should get every bit of that come post time. He's an interesting horse on paper as well. Will All Bets Off, also getting some post relief improve. I don't know. I've been riding that bandwagon on and off for a while, and he just doesn't seem to be getting any better. I would go away from him. Rockin' Ron's somewhat interesting because he has early speed. If he gets to the top, you know, and then Don't Tell Me Again retakes, he could be sitting a decent trip here. But by all means here, Don't Tell Me Again is my absolute top pick, my best bet on the card. I just love him in this spot. You're getting 3-1. He's second choice on the morning line. If we can get anywhere close to that, quite frankly, I would take 8-5 and be very happy. That's a look at the action at Dayton Raceway on Friday, September the 28th. Watch all of it live on Harness Live. Join Garnett Barnsdale. It should be a great night of action. Good luck.